Hello there everyone and welcome back. I had my fun with the Aeldari and I guess there was requests, at least a request, to play with the Corsairs once again. Since it has been a while since I dared to attempt to play with them. And a lot of that, if I were to be serious, is the fact that since they do rely on the stealth strategy, the hit and run tactics, they probably are a very frustrating opponent to go up against. So I hate to give my opponents a bad time, ideally, if I can help it. So I'm going to make this one little exception here to play with them a bit more. For this fleet, I feel like is a good all-rounder type of fleet, since we have the Voidstalker to serve as the bait, grabbing the points, taking advantage of its extended range, especially with the upgrade to enhance it further. And then we have the Auroras and the Hellbore, or the Hellibore, just to harass and look for a window to stab them in the back a little bit. And maybe get a couple critical hits while ideally avoiding getting hit, since the light cruisers, the frigates, have the solid running option available to them, so they don't need to rely on the gas clouds as much as you saw me utilizing them with the Aeldari in the last episode. So I should have a little more wiggle room and a lot more freedom to maneuver, and of course the Voidstalker is just the simplest ship to really control and maneuver with, on top of it being a potentially big threat to force your opponents to chase after it. Although, I really do dislike the other Corsair type of fleet we sometimes see, which is the Devil Voidstalker, since the Voidstalker does sacrifice a lot of raw firepower, and when you only have at most 3 ships here, can you even afford a cruiser? Okay, you could afford a cruiser, but that limits your options a little bit. And hence what I mean by going top heavy with the Voidstalkers. Since you want to kind of get a lot of flanking maneuvers in, and when really you only have 2 ships to be your main threat, they don't have to worry about being outpositioned a lot of the times, unless you're going to have these 2 Voidstalkers maneuver independently of each other, one almost never engaging and just stealing points as needed, and the other one just running away all day, with maybe the fighters and bombers trying to do some damage if you're so lucky. But I really do dislike that fleet, since I had plenty of videos somewhere in my archives of going up against the Devil Corsair or Devil Voidstalker fleet, and it just seems a little bit underwhelming in a lot of regards at least. But that's neither here or there. Let's get started. Well, this is going to be interesting. Necron. I'm going to have a field day, and oh my god. I swear I reinstalled during my Aeldari video, and now we're dealing with this bug again. I do seriously wonder if it's my PC or just the game itself, because this would be the second time I reinstalled Battlefleet Gothic. So I don't want to believe it's on my end, but it's impossible to really say. But either way, we have Necrons. They're going to be slow, lumbering ships, and if they ever jump around to try and get moving quickly, then at least I will know, or at least have them identified to know what upgrades they are, let alone what kind of fleet we're up against. Although it does beg the question if stasis bomb is really useful here or not. And I'm going to hang on to Maelstrom just in case, because I don't recognize... I think actually I recognize the name somewhere, I just couldn't tell you where. But what are upgrade or skills actually useful in this regard? I honestly don't know, besides maybe the additional armor. Maybe. Micro Warp Jump I could see some merit for, since I am going to be hiding a lot, so it's not like my Voidstalker is going to be vulnerable. It's just a pretty odd upgrade to have.
We obey.
Nope, I probably didn't need to boost with everything, since I am after all trying to play hit-in. But let's see, 3 ships. So this very easily could be 3 battle cruisers.
Yes,
could be a whole lot of anything, really. And since I'm giving away where my position is, and what I'm hoping to do is grab these 3 points and have the fighters recalled by the time I get to the 3rd point. So ideally I won't be giving away my position all that much. That's the dream. We'll have to keep an eye on the fact that there are going to be frigates around. Quite resilient frigates at that.
Until the end.
But normally it is a bit ballsy to try and launch fighters like this.
As the fates decree.
And with fighters being launched,
We serve.
I honestly wonder if I just want to recall them to catch these fighters. I don't think I'll be able to catch them.
Together. The void is our home.
Yeah, well. I guess I'm not going to get that point like I want.
Decree.
But we know where the frigate is, so maybe, if I'm so lucky, I could pounce that in some form. And of course,
Ride the solar winds.
recalling the fighters, and it doesn't want to tell me when. I am revealed though, so that's not a big deal. Because I have gas clouds here. I kind of already given away where it was due to grabbing the points.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
I just want to kill these to maybe restrict what they can do, but
Let the winds fill our sails.
and this looks like it's a light cruiser maybe over here, or all the frigates over on this side, which I'm fine with.
Until the end.
Gotta be cautious. Because we don't know what we're up against, they can jump me really quickly. And I would like to reveal these ships.
Yes, Commander. The void is our home. Enemy in our sight. We serve. We move together. Come about with grace.
Your deck's gone, you're not the flagship.
Yes, Commander. Setting sail.
Now can we kill this thing quickly?
We serve.
That would be the dream, but it's going to be
enemy
tricky to
has
do
seized
that.
a strategic area.
Especially with how close we are to kind of revealing ourselves.
Eagle bombers beginning attack pattern.
This might be unpleasant. And apparently there's another ship around.
Sight.
Alright, so your engine's immediately gone. I'll take that.
We
I will
obey.
take the points in the process. Actually, I could just take all the points.
Winds.
Sadly, I am going to be a bit on fire. A little more on fire than I prepared for.
Ride the solar winds.
Now, can we just kill your engines, ideally?
The void is our home. Let the winds fill us.
And thankfully, I got out of the reach before the gas cloud, so that's probably the best I could ask for there, but
As the fates decree.
that was a ridiculous amount of damage we did, and
Taking
I am
new
contemplating doing a micro warp jump pretty soon. I just want to clear some
Fates
distance
decree.
first before I do that.
position. Unseen and
You're hitting.
silent.
You'll get the boost in a moment, then we'll run on out. And it is the triple battleship fleet.
You have seized a strategic area.
Until the end.
Now, time to reposition here. Although, when I can't even see my sensor radius, that's a little awkward, to say the least.
Until the end.
Just grab the points from behind them. I knew there was a reason I had the micro warp jump.
Commander.
Actually, just grab the point.
Setting sail.
The enemy has seized
And with
a
how
strategic
crippled the one
area.
ship is, I don't know if we got any permanent damage, especially since they can just easily repair their engines, but
Acknowledged.
that was just a nice little bait, I like to think.
Setting sail.
And with the light cruiser gone, I don't think they have any frigates.
Until the end.
We could just
You have
harass them,
seized a strategic area.
ideally. I just gotta be mindful they can jump right on me in a hurry.
As the fates decree. Swiftly.
And I would like to launch bombers, since I'm gonna give away my position in a moment anyway.
Come about with grace. Hold forth the bone singers. We
So I did take a little bit of damage, but I have salt running at least, so that helps a ton.
We move together. We serve.
Nope, that wasn't what I want, but
You have accumulated 25% of strategic
engines are
points.
permanently gone there, so can we follow up on this?
Yes, Commander. Taking new position.
Now I still have the hull field. I'm just waiting for my bombers to come back up to maybe kill this thing.
Yes, Commander. Ride the solar wind.
Yes, launch your star pulse generator, although that is definitely really painful. Can I at least fire torpedoes and start actually
The
killing
enemy
them?
has seized
Or never
a
mind, bombers might
strategic
just kill
area.
it.
The enemy has accumulated 25% of strategic.
I fired with both of them. I was hoping it was just a one, but
The fates decree.
it does what was needed.
With grace. Let the winds fill our sails. We obey.
Alright, conceal yourself.
We serve.
Prepare to do some more damage.
The void
Because
is
this
our
fleet can
home.
very easily just cripple the flagship now.
Ride
And
the
I can
solar
rally.
winds.
And ideally just get my morale back up. I'm just gonna have to wait for fighters is the only catch.
Taking new position. Until the end. We obey.
Alright, all I have to do is wait for the fighters to die. Sadly, I don't have Maelstrom, although I'm handicapping myself anyway, so that's not a problem too much.
Fill our sails. Yes, Commander.
Now,
Setting sail. We
this will
move
force you to
together.
burn your super star pulse generator.
Acknowledged.
Ah, never mind. I was really hoping that was.
Taking new position.
I was really hoping that was they were recalled.
enemy has
That's what it looked like for a bit there.
50% of
So that was a bit of a waste.
You have accumulated
I was-
50% of
I thought I
strategic
could get away
points.
with just firing the bombers.
Setting sail.
Oh yeah, I did use the Maelstroms. Stupid me. I wasn't really handicapping myself too much, but we still have a point lead. I just don't have
The
torpedoes.
enemy has seized a strategic area.
Come about with grace.
But once this flagship dies, that should help me a ton.
Swiftly.
Because I don't even need to maneuver. I just gotta stay out of range.
Commander.
Because I do have. Nope.
Until the end.
The. I do have the means to at least disrupt their hull regeneration.
Until the end. Swiftly. We serve. We move together.
All I need to do is kill this thing now, which is gonna be hard.
Yes, Commander.
Especially when now I can't even see what my 9,000 range is.
Acknowledge. Taking new position. We move together.
Oh, you're about to mutiny, are you? Almost.
We obey.
Now that there's only one ship left there, I shouldn't need to do anything careless.
Swiftly.
Although, it's a lot of the reason why I have the Voidstalker. It makes poking and harassing them and forcing them to do things they don't want to do a lot more simpler.
As the fates decree.
And your deck's only temporarily gone.
Setting sail.
Only problem with that, though, is I like to keep your morale up.
Until the end. The
So this
void
may
is
become an
our home.
underwhelming type of match since I am sort of forced to grab points
Let the winds fill us.
if I want to try and keep this victory going.
Yes, Commander.
And I want to get my morale going as well.
Setting sail.
Since sure, I have the lead now, but it's only a temporary buffer.
Taking new position.
Actually, with those 3 points, they can do pretty well at
Setting sail.
Yeah, with no torpedoes, I think they still got this in a sense anyway because of how easy they could jump between these 3 points.
The enemy
Unless I
has
could destroy the
accumulated
engines.
75% of strategic points. You have accumulated 75%
That is the
of
exception
strategic
there.
points.
Yes, Commander. As the fates decree.
Because, yeah, this is the battlecruiser advantage they're going to have right here, in that they'll be able to just easily grab these points so damn quickly and turn around.
Taking new position.
Although that engine critical hit was conveniently timed.
Acknowledged. The void is our home.
Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. Dang, I changed stances by mistake, but...
Until the end. Swiftly.
And as soon as this gets...
The enemy
Yeah,
has
as soon as
seized
this
the
gets shot at,
strategic area.
I'm basically going to lose the ship immediately, so...
Acknowledged.
Because here comes the jump now.
Ride the solar winds.
No surprise there in this regard. And that's a lot of the reason why I wish I didn't switch the stances accidentally.
Mend our wounds. All weapons fire at will. We obey.
Ah, wasted my pulsar shot there, sadly.
Was foretold.
And you can do hull damage, so let's
The
keep
enemy
that
is
in
close
mind.
to victory
Ah.
on strategic points.
And I don't think the particle whip actually ignores the hull field. I think that's just really the... I'm trying to think of the word. It's the... what is it? The Tyrannid's bioplasma that ignores hollow fields. Sadly, I think this match is over now. I'm gonna have to actually kill the ship to get the victory. So yeah, I got a little careless there, and I messed up horribly with trying to do my attack runs. I assumed that the battlecruiser recalled the fighters, and my bombers should not have been intercepted as a result of that. And then I was gonna wait for a star pulse generator, then fire torpedoes on them, and that probably would have kept the Voidstalker alive. That is a shame. I messed up there. But again, it's a reason why the Voidstalker is important for, like, just harassing at a distance. Especially against Necrons with their ability to jump around. Since it's really easy for them to get on top of me with only 9,000 range after all. It's why the Drukhari have such a difficult time, especially without hollow fields. Okay, Chaos. They can be a problematic bunch just because of the incredible range that they have access to. Although, I should not in theory have to worry about the Nurgle swarm cloud all that much, unless they are tenacious, and I swear I reinstalled the damn game. I even put it to a different hard drive, so this is officially not on my end. I think I can comfortably say that. I did what I could. We're just sadly gonna have to live with it for the time being. Although maybe it'll give me some bonuses to my hit and run potential. Unlikely, but one can dream, right? In all honesty, I think I want to follow through with the same strategies before. Just grab these 3 points. They are a bit spread out, so it's going to be tricky to try. Ooh. Well, we have a fan here, so now I'm going to have to be generous. Gotta pull my punches, although to be fair, I kind of already been trying to pull my punches as we deal with these dang bugs. Because I feel like it is a bit of an issue, especially with my Aeldari fleet, because the pulsars are incredibly stubborn, and if I'm not able to actually see my heading, that makes it even more problematic to try and get my shots off. So we're officially doing try-hard mode, I guess, with this bug, but so far, it's looking okay at the moment. So far. I just hope I can give my opponent a good time. I just don't know how to do that, considering my entire my entire strategy revolves in not getting shot at, as if at all, ideally. And that doesn't really sound fun if I can execute on that. And with the amount of range that they potentially have with their lances, I am going to be in a lot of trouble. At least if they destroy like my generator, then any heavy lance setup they may have is going to really hurt. So I may want to try and stay near gas clouds at every point that I can. At least that way I can guarantee conceal myself relatively quickly. Because we are looking at 6 cruisers, so this could be slaughters. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. It's pretty much the normal speed, I want to argue. That's how I basically count it there, because keep in mind, 240 speed versus 200 of the regular cruisers, and each of these grids is basically 1,000 units of distance. So you can almost quite literally count what, or figure out what the ships are based on their speed. If it's significant enough to really matter, that is.
You have seized a strategic area.
Now, I don't know if my opponent knows to listen for audio cues, so I gotta be careful on that. Since the element of surprise is really important for these ships. And I am gonna be trying to grab these points regardless, so maybe I could try revealing them without having to burn a scanner pulse. And there's my ship invisible. Not much I could do about that, sadly. But if I can reveal them, maybe get ready to start putting a little bit of pressure on them. That'll be nice. We will see. I'm just worried about these light cruisers getting put in a very bad spot, especially if it's inconvenient timing. So these are standard upgrades. And we know where the frigates are. Oh, this is a slaughter fleet. Okay. So I counted that poorly, I think. Oh yeah, I think I counted it wrong, or I misinterpreted it, so silly me. But this changes the mindset quite heavily. Since those things... Now I lost my train of thought after answering that question, dang it. But they can run down this Voidstalker incredibly well. Now I'm wondering if I just grab the points behind them.
We move together. We serve.
I really feel like I should try grabbing these points, although the problem there is they're going to grab my points so much quicker than me. So it's probably not worth it.
We obey.
Especially with their better speed, but if I'm quick about this, maybe I can get away with something.
As the fates decree. Yes, Commander.
Yep, just grab the points from behind them. At least try to, anyway.
Swiftly.
But this is the downside of trying to utilize this kind of fleet anymore. Grabbing objectives may not be all that practical, but at least I don't have to worry about the range as much. And their entire fleet isn't really grabbing the point right now, so I'm okay in that regard.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Now I'm wondering, they could just outrun my bombers, so I gotta be willing to just say no about having my ships, or at least recalling my bombers. If they can reveal them, that's kind of nice. Since my opponent isn't using a mission dissipator, probably because they don't have access to it yet, if I were to be honest. And I'm waiting for the boost. That's what I'm most afraid of, really.
Until the end. We move together.
And I was half wondering if that actually boosted or not.
As the fates decree.
Just grab the point there. The frigate isn't really a big deal, but with their mobility, that could be a problem.
Taking new position.
Because I'm not going to be able to reveal these very quickly. And where's my frigate with that said?
The void is
It could reveal them. This is going to be kind of close because I won't have stasis bomb to help out.
A strategic area.
We obey. Enemy.
And I can outrange their macro cannons pretty well. And permanent engine critical hit's a big deal there.
Enemy in our sight. Unseen and silent.
And yeah, there's scanner pulse, so
Swift.
gotta watch for that. And try and outrun these. Again, I don't have stasis bomb to help protect them.
New position.
So we're gonna have to make this work somehow. Because slaughters can run me down incredibly well, but if only a prow weaponry, maybe I'll be okay.
As the fates dictate.
Come on, don't lag on me, that's the last thing I need. Just keep flying towards me and limit your firepower as a result.
Let the winds fill our sails. Swiftly.
Alright, this is gonna be bold, but we're gonna try it.
You have
Oh.
accumulated 25%.
It is gonna be a lot of boarding, but I was really hoping to maybe they would fall for the trap of only boarding one of them.
Well this day. Setting sail.
Let's see, and crew's sadly gone there.
Ride the solar winds. Acknowledge.
Now, can we cripple another one?
Ride the solar winds. Swiftly.
The
And
enemy has
especially if I
seized
could
the
set up for
strategic
some
area.
damage. Because sadly having no deck available is what got that killed.
Setting sail. We obey. Let the winds fill us.
Alright, the frigate just scanner pulse there, so this is gonna get up. Alright, so I'm gonna have to take this seriously. As much as I would like to not use the maelstrom. These things need to die quickly.
Of strategic points.
Yes, Commander. We move together. As the fates decree.
This is probably still gonna hurt, but if they boost towards me, at least I want to kill the frigates, but I'm not gonna get it, sadly.
Until the end.
Try as I might, so I'm gonna have to just outrange them
The enemy
and
has seized a strategic area.
This is not possible.
yep, and I'm gonna get wedged into a corner pretty quickly here.
The solar winds. Enemy
And the maelstrom should expire in a moment, so maybe I could do some damage here.
setting sail.
And I have stasis bomb coming up in a moment.
Swiftly. Enemy in our sight.
That's not gonna do me a lot of good now.
You have
It had potential, but again, they can run me down ridiculously well, as it made apparent.
We obey.
And with lock-on stance, they do have the range advantage too.
Ho, ho.
I kind of wish I had micro-warp jump here,
Yes, Commander.
because the best I could do is just delay this.
Taking new position.
And the gambit to try and bypass them entirely did not pay off. But
The winds.
with no frigates here, I do have a little bit of breathing room.
Yes, Commander. Setting sail.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Now let me get my combustion gauge back up quickly. At least speed that process along.
This is not possible. We serve. Swiftly.
So bombers, yeah, they sadly even with them flying directly at the bombers, they did absolutely nothing there. So I'm pretty much screwed here in this regard. I really wish I had that micro warp jump, because now I'm just gonna get bored to death. And of course, messing up with my stasis bomb hurts a lot too in that regard.
Taking new position. Come about with grace.
Now, if only I could got more engine critical hits really early like that. Because sadly, the trade-off for getting the one hit was not worth it. If maybe... So, there's not really much I could go about this. It's just the poor case of me having to run for my life. And never... I always have to attack from behind, alas. Otherwise, it's going to be a bad. Because now, even with my current... Even with my current ships, I can't hold on to these objectives very well. Because they still have 5 cruisers, and the 5 cruisers are going to grab the points much better. Unless I'm directly behind them. And this frigate will still eventually grab the points someday.
We obey.
And they're all deathballing right now, it just can't really see them. It doesn't want to give me the silhouettes.
As the fates decree. Enemy in our sight. Taking new position.
Now, I would like to engage them, but imagine how easy it'd be for them to just turn and run me down. It's a bit of a problem. And now, unless I boost, I'm not going to get that shot in, am I? And I can reactivate these ships eventually. Although, now it doesn't even want to show me the range of my pulsars. Not a whole lot I can do here. I'm just going to get run down to death. If I can get torpedoes, that might be nice. But again, this is just going to be a slow, abysmal loss here.
We move together. Taking new position.
I can at least disengage there. Maybe do a little bit more damage. Aw, this is inconvenient. I wonder how I feel about that. I turn around and you dart right at me. That's not fair. I'm trying to outmaneuver you.
Until the end.
Yeah, and this frigate's still trying to grab the point. That's where this fleet hurts the most. Because I rely exclusively on the battleship to grab the points, because nothing else can really do that job anymore. Even in emergency. And yeah, they basically have the point lead, so this is going to be over. Promising start, but maybe... Well, really what happened is I waited too long trying to grab the points. If I had just a bit left as soon as I neutralized the points, maybe there was something I could have done, but... Without a doubt, I couldn't have won in that regard. Just because, again, the amount of time it took. So I think really I'll have to settle for just neutralizing a point. So that way it just gives me more time to soften them up. Because if that Voidstalker got the engine critical hit without losing half of my light cruisers, then I would have been in a really good shape to just keep doing that. Alright. We're getting a Mechanicus again at least. So I know how to at least deal with their Novacans. It's a question if my opponent knows how to take advantage of that, but... At the end of the day, I think what I need to do is stop trying to win through the objective and instead keep them from winning. Because I'm spending so much time trying to grab points that isn't really helping me. Especially with the light cruisers. And it got the poor things killed as made apparent by the slaughters. The extra speed definitely made the difference there. Since what? That's an extra 120 unit speed difference from the all-ahead full. So what I'm going to do is a little more of an aggressive path. Voidstalker goes through there. If it can grab this point, then good, but otherwise, I'm just gonna have this frigate grab this point on the right. And these two will at least harass with the other fleet. At least try to. I want them in separate groups just in case that... Well, yeah, in case they start getting run down, at least I can start having them one fleet flank and the other one just continue running. Now get on moving. And you just grab this one point here and maybe you could take out a frigate for me. So this looks traditional, like the 5 cruiser fleet maybe? Possibly. We'll see what happens. Although they have played Armada 2 before apparently, but we'll see if they, all that practice or what they learned is, they know how to apply it. Because Corsairs should not be an easy match if I can position myself properly and not leave myself vulnerable to just being run down aggressively. And there are without a doubt frigates around too, which is going to be a problem for this 2 light cruiser fleet. In all honesty, maybe I just shoot down some of the point defense. That way I'll prime the bombers a little bit better. And definitely will give me fission, which is going to be helpful for the Voidstalker. As much as I like to try a more aggressive approach, I still need to reveal them for crying out loud if I want to do the damage. Otherwise that extra range isn't going to help me. And I'll save the scanner pulse for later. Nope, it does not want to tell me the range, which is even more problematic. Trying to guess this distance, so... And really, all those 4 pulsars do is just kill the shields. Alright, so I can easily dodge that. I did turn off the whole fire, but it doesn't really help a whole lot here. This is not my day, is it? But Stasis Bomb will give me some breathing room. If only a slight bit.
You have seized a strategic area.
Now hold fire. And just get ready to murder this thing. The only way you know how.
Until the end. Ride the solar winds. Let the void claim them.
Alright, that was scary there. A lot of that was due to the fact I didn't hold fire as well as I probably should have, but we are getting hits in at least. Now just conceal yourself. And just continue with the hurt, I guess.
As the fates decree. The void is our home.
Alright, so dodge that. I'm holding fire this time, so I should at least dodge this relatively well, but the Voidstalker needs help. And this time I'm properly holding fire. Because that could have very easily been disaster, and of course their fighters denied my bombers. So let's see about punishing this one cruiser. I'm gonna lose the point without a doubt, but if I can get a good pulsar shot, that helps a little bit. And of course my stance also gives away my position a tiny bit too. Ah, dang it. I fired torpedoes after a falls maneuver, so that was a missed opportunity there. And thankfully mobility here is a lot better with this fleet. Although this is going to hurt a little bit. Now I want to bomb this thing. And there's an opportunity to maybe do that. Now let me actually control this fleet properly, I guess.
25% of strategic points.
Okay, Stasis Bomb would have helped you out there. I'm hoping. If you burn all your combustion gauge, that's pretty good for me, but... yeah, bombers are not doing their thing, sadly. And you burnt a lot of your combustion gauge, so I'm hoping this pays off. It's doing a good amount of damage at least, so there's that.
You have seized a strategic area.
Now kill the isolated cruisers.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
And with your engines gone, this should hurt. And you are also running out of fumes a little bit, so I think I'm in the clear. What are your upgrades? Yeah, you do have Disruption Overcharge. I kind of figured as much. And I do wonder if you're just going to burn to death. And I only have 2 charges of bombers. Okay, 2 permanent engine destruction, so that's a good deal there. Kill this ship off. I'm just waiting till the last second, because I'm basically trying to get rid of the silhouette so they know where I'm turning to or boosting to. Ideally. I just don't quite remember what the delay is off the top of my head. I'm trying to improvise a bit.
You have accumulated 50% of strategic points.
Yes, Commander.
Alright, torpedoes. Do a lot of damage, please. Although, might not work as well as I like. Are we out? It's impossible to really say, but I think we're out.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Well, those were good hits. Not exactly what I was aiming for, but good hits. And this frigate's probably doing more work than my light cruisers, basically at grabbing points. Since at least I'm putting pressure on my opponent to keep him from doing anything. Dang it. Hold that thought though, we're not out of the woods yet. I kind of want to kill their ships, but this is a more pressing matter.
As the fates decree.
The enemy has accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Setting sail. Swiftly.
This is going to be scary, but at least it'll allow me to recharge a bit.
Setting sail. We serve.
If only briefly. Now I'm waiting for the shot. Okay, you got 2 of them. I'll take these hits gracefully. I figured they expired. I should have waited for the AoE to fade, but I'm doing good damage at least. Can we finish this off?
You have accumulated 75% of strategic points.
And I have no torpedoes left, but there's only one ship available. And guess what? We have bombers to kind of murder this a bit. Well, that's not really true. They have multiple ships still available. One just has a permanently damaged engine. There. This is finally a match I could feel a little more happy with. I was wondering if I was just sloppy as hell or something. But maybe it's just the nature of Corsairs, since everyone loves to hate on them. But it's not as easy as it looks. Or maybe I'm just overcommitting, which really... almost all the Aeldari are based off that. If you ever overcommit or overextend, you're probably going to die really damn quickly. I just hope I made that an entertaining match for our opponent at least. If nothing else.